everyone, welcome to another Python tutorial series. And today video we're going to create a simple login and registration application using Tkinter. Uh, Tkinter is a powerful and widely used GUI platform in Python that we're going to talk about it in the next sections of our video. So please stick with me till the end of this video tutorial, and I hope you like and enjoy it. Okay, so GUI is a graphical user interface. It's what we see when we interact with the application on our phone or desktop. So let's say when you go to your phone application and you see a login and password button, and that window itself is all user interface. And Python has a designer option, which unfortunately is not available in Community Edition. So if you have the Professional Edition, you can have the designer option. The way the designer option works is that you can just drag and drop different elements of your user interface and just design it visually. You don't have to code. Like, you might need to do partial coding, but for the most part you just interact with the designer option and you can lay it out and see all your work done by drag and dropping the user interface element. But what we're going to do here today in our video, we're going to do because we're using Community Edition and we want to learn coding, so we're going to use code based approach. And yeah, so one more thing, Python has list more than one or two GUI packages and modules. So Tkinter is one of them. It's we also have PyQt and few more that you can use, but for the purpose of our video today, we're going to use Tkinter because it's just it comes with a Python. It's so it's part of the Python package, but PyQt is another good GUI designer, but it's a third-party toolkit, and it's based on Qt framework. And I think the integration of Tkinter is easier because it's already part of the Python modules, and Tkinter is simpler and easier to learn. It's make it ideal for our purpose here, but PyQt offers more advanced feature for wider range of widgets, and we're gonna talk about widgets in next sections actually. Yep. So let's dive into the coding and get our hand dirty, and we're gonna talk about this a little more in next sections. Okay, so I think learning any programming languages with trying to do small projects, it'll make it way easier. It'll help us to understand it better. It'll help us to get a real world view of how coding it is. So just sitting and talking about it or watching a video, someone explaining a part of the code, it's not all. So I encourage you guys to code with me if you like. It'll definitely help you to improve your skills and get better at coding. So we're gonna start with importing Tkinter module. I'm gonna remove these. We need to have the module in our application in order to be able to use it. So I'm gonna say import Tkinter, and I'm gonna name it as TK. Okay. Now we need to create the main application window. So the main application window is let's say it's the window that you see, like if you open any application on, let's say, your Windows or Mac, then you're gonna see a window. Okay, that is the main window application I'm talking about. In order for us to create the main application window, we need to create instance of the TK class. So I'm gonna say we're gonna call it root. our root window, and I'm gonna say tk and tk. Okay, so I created a class, an object of this tk, and we're gonna give it a name, root dot title. I'm gonna say login and registration. Oops, I have a typo. Yeah, I'm terrible at typing. Okay, so we're named our main window login and registration. We need to change this. This is lowercase. It's not capital K, it's TK lowercase. Yeah, it should work now. Yeah, so if we run this right now, we're not going to be able to see anything, because in order for us to be able to see the window pop up, we need to use a method called main loop. So the main loop, it'll help us to run the Tkinter application, and the way it works is that it'll loop forever until the user exit the window or waits for any events that happens from the user side to exit. So let's just go ahead and use it. We need to type root dot main loop. Okay, this will help us to run the Tkinter application and see the window that we want to see, the interface. So run, yep, you can see it right here. So this is our GUI. This is what we're gonna work with today. As you can see, it's not, it should be, if it was like this, it would be better because we could see the whole name, but we're gonna fix that. Okay, we need to arrange it. But yeah, so you can see the window now. Now in the next section, what we're gonna do is we need to create frames. So frames are containers that will help us to organize widgets. So we'll go over widget just in a bit, but let's talk about frame first. So we have two parts in our application here. We said we want to have login and registration in our app, on our user interface. So we want to see two different parts. So, and each part has different elements. So the login will have username, password, let's say enter button, and registration will have username, password, confirm password, and like a button to like enter. So we want to put these separately so we don't confuse them. We can just add these elements and hope that they will get organized in the right place. No, we need to have two separate frames so we can put those elements in the right one. So we would do that by the help of frames. So let's go ahead and create two frames. The first frame would be login, let's say login frame. And the way we can do that, we can go to TK and call the frame method. Okay, and we could also create frame for registration. So we say reg frame tk dot frame. Okay, so we create our frame, but this is not going to make any difference because we call these method from TK class, but they're still not part of our interface, so they're not included in our root like main window application. We need to include them in the main window application. The way we do that, we're just gonna go here and pass the root to them. When we pass it, they become part of the main window application. And yep, so the next step, we can now that we have these frames, we need to arrange them. And there's different ways we can arrange here. We can use geometry managers. Uh, Tkinter, they have three different geometry manager, as I know. They have pack, grid, and place for arranging widgets and like window and all that. Pack, it's a geometry manager that organizes widgets in block and stacking them either horizontally or vertically based on the order they're packed. And grid is the geometry manager that it arranges widgets in rows and columns. So it allow us to create more complex layout with a very precise control over positioning them. And place is the geometry manager that allow us to exact position and size of the widgets within the window we're using, like absolute or relative coordinates. For the purpose of our code, we're going to use pack because it's simpler. It's a limited comparing to grid, but it's easier. So let's just go ahead and use it. So if in order for us to do that, we're going to say, first of all, we want to arrange these frames. So we're going to say login frame dot pack, and we're going to say path x, let's say 92, path y, let's say 10. Okay, so path x puts a bit of extra space to the left and right of the window, but the path y adds extra space on the top and bottom. So when we say path x92, that means that from left and right put 92 pixels space, and same goes for y. So path y put 10 pixels of space from top and the bottom. And also let's do the same thing for registration frame, and let's say we're gonna give it how much should I give it? Yeah, we're gonna give it the same. So let's say pack x equal to 90, sorry, okay, terrible at this, 92, pad y 10. Okay, we're not gonna see anything because we don't have any elements in our uh, frames. So if we do that, still we're not gonna see anything, but we will see something very soon after we put those widgets in our frames. So next step, after we arrange the frames, we need to create those widgets. Okay, widget is an element of the GUI that displays information or gives a way for the user to interact with the OS. And Tkinter provides a wide range of widgets such as labels, button, entry fields, and a lot more, and allowing us to create interactive user interfaces. And to access widgets, we need to use TK class. And there are different type of widgets that we can use. The first type that we're going to use today is labels. So labels, it help us to like just put a label wherever we want. So let's go and create a label. I'm gonna say okay, how many labels do we need, guys? We need first a label for username, so we're gonna say user name, okay, username, login LBL as for label. So we're going to use tk class dot label, and here we have few options. So we need to configure widget properties. So we need to, like, in this method takes can take few input. So we need to configure that these various properties of the widget using the optional parameters in the constructor, or like using method like config and pack. And also we can just pass it here, let's say to the label. We can say let's say this is a, since this is a label, we want to have it, we want to have a text, and we want to say this text called username. So text, we want to say username. So we're calling our text username. But before that, we need to pass this label to the frame we want. So this is going to be part of the, let's say, login frame. So login frame, and then we'll pass the text option here. Okay. So first we pass it to the frame we want, and then we're gonna pass the optional parameters, which here we chose text. Why this is giving error? Oh, that's okay. Actually, that's not okay. This is label. Yeah, they all start with uppercase. Okay, if we run this, we're not going to be able to see anything. We have created the element, the widget, and we have passed it here to the frame, but we're still not going to be able to see it. I'm going to show it to you guys. Let's just close it first. It'll take a few seconds. Sometimes when we use this, yeah, it'll get slower. And I'm gonna go here, run. So we're still not seeing anything here. I'm gonna expand it just to show it to you guys. We're not seeing anything. The reason is that we haven't arranged it yet. If we haven't arranged it yet, we're not gonna be able to see it. So let's go here and arrange this label as well. So we're gonna say username dot pack, and I'm gonna say pat y equals to, let's say, 5. Okay, we need to close this. This is not closing for some reason. I'm gonna just run it. Should work. Yep, see, username now. Without the arrangement, we can't see it. All right, so next widget that we're gonna have is after username, obviously we need the password. So we're gonna say pass log for login and LBL for label. We're gonna go to tk class dot label. First we need to give it a label, so we're gonna pass it to the frame, login frame, and text parameter password. Okay, and we need to organize this as well. Pass log lbl dot pack, and we're gonna say pat y equals to 5. Now we'll be able to see that, you know. So we're just gonna go further next, and the next ones are widget called entry widget. So entry widget is a text field or number field. We can configure it to be either. So these fields help the user to input some kind of like a information, like a string, password, username, whatever we want to try to input. We need to have entry widgets. So for the password, we are gonna say pass log entry, and we're gonna say tk dot entry, and we need to pass it to login frame, and we're gonna use a different parameter. So you see when you enter the password, it shows like it just shows those like little stars. We want to do that. So let's say we want to have this. This will show when we input it, we'll see this. We can put anything. We can put plus sign or whatever we want. It's up to us. So, and we need to okay, we need to arrange it. Pass log entry dot pack. I'm gonna put pat y equals to 5. So I'm gonna run it just to demonstrate to you guys. See, we have username and password. Okay, we forgot to define one for the username. Let's go ahead and do that. So we're gonna say, we're gonna go here, say username log entry equals to tk dot entry login frame, and we don't want any parameters for this one. This one okay as it is. So username log entry dot pack pat y equals to 5. Run. Yep, now we can see it. So now that we have these two, we need a different type of like widget now. So we need a button. This button will help us to submit whatever we put in these two fields. So to do that, I'm going to minimize this and this. We're going to come here and we're going to use different type of widget, and we're going to name it login btn for button tk dot. We need to have a call the button method, and we're going to pass it to our login frame, and we're going to say text is one of the parameters we want to have, login. And we want to, this is an event handling widget, so it'll help us to, so event handling, what I mean by event handling, I mean that when we click on the button, something needs to happen. So we want to have the information that was entered by the user. So we want to have the username and password. So this button here will help us to retrieve those. So like we can use it in our code to like do different things, do whatever we want, like authenticating user information. So the next parameter we're going to use is command. In command, we can pass a method, a function that will get called when we click on the button. So whenever we input the username and password, then we click on the button, this method will get called, and we're gonna call this method, we can call it login func for the login function. So we get the error here because we have not defined this method. So we need to go up, we need to define it before this, because you know we need to have access to the method before we call it. So where would be a good place? I think here would be a good place. So we called it login, called diff login func, and we're just gonna put a print here to not get any error. And so we're gonna come back. We need to also arrange the button here. So we say login button dot pack pat y equals to 5, and yeah, we have the login button here right now. Okay, so I'm going to minimize this, and I'm going to go to next section. So we're going to do all this again for registration, but before we do that, I want to show to you guys something. So if I come here, you can see you're able to see login and registration title here with no issue. Remember, we couldn't see it first. That's because we organized the frame somehow that it'll fit the screen. So we did it here. If I lower this, if I make this 20 and also this 20, now it'll be interesting where we're gonna see now. Run. Is to run. See, we don't see this anymore because I found that 92 would be spaced out enough to show these. So because this is not enough, 20 is not enough. So we have 20 pixels here, 20 pixels here. That's not enough to show the title, but 92 was enough. So that's why I put 92 if you were wondering. And for pad Y, that's just what I thought is good enough, so that didn't really matter. All right, so let's go and do the registration. Registration username Ridge LBL. So tk class dot label. We're gonna pass it this time to the registration frame. So text, this will be username. Okay, let's go back. Okay, arrange it. Username bridge lbl.pack. I'm gonna say pad y equal to 5. So now we have the entry for it. Username rich entry. It will be tk dot entry, and we're gonna pass it to rich frame. And organize it. Username rich entry dot pack pad y equal to 5. Okay, now we need to have password for it. So pass rich entry. Actually we need to first create the label for the password. So pass, it doesn't matter which one we create first, but I like to keep it organized. So rich lbl equal to tk dot label rich frame and text show me. Okay, show me. Okay, I keep making the same mistake twice, which is not good. Password. Okay, pass bridge and bridge. Let's organize it first. Pass bridge lbl dot pack pad y equals to 5. Now we can create the entry. Pass rich entry equal to tk dot entry rich frame, and we want to show the, let's just for fun, let's have plus here. And okay, this was not supposed to happen. Pass rich entry dot pack, it will be pad y. Okay, sorry guys, my typing skills are not as good as yesterday. 5. Okay, we need another entry for confirming the password. So we're gonna say pass reg entry, and we'll say conf for as of confirmation. tk.entry, and we pass it to rich frame, and we want to show again, show same plus. We need to now organize it. Pass rich entry conf.pack. It will be pad y equals to 5. And the last thing, we need the event handler. So we need a button here to submit the passwords and username. So we're going to say rich btn tk.button, pass it to rich frame, text will be sign up. How's that? And command would be rich func. Okay, we need to go and define it in a bit. Rich btn dot pack pad y, it'll be 5. So let's go create the function for registration. We're gonna say diff rich func, and let's just give it a print. Okay, I forgot this. All right, we should be good. Let's run it now. Let's run. Yep. See username, password, username, and to field for password. To make it better, we need to also give a label here for confirmation password, like password retype. Okay, let's go and do it. Password conf, I'm going to put it here. So I'm going to say pass rich lbl conf tk dot label rich frame, and text we're gonna say password type. How's that? Pass rich lbl conf dot pack, it'll be pad y equals to 5. This should be better now. Okay, I'm waiting for it to run. Okay, yep, username, password retype. Not bad. Okay, so we have created our interface, graphical user interface. We have given it some widgets and some event handler widgets, login and sign up. So right now we need to configure the method we created here. So whenever user input their username and password for login and registration, I want something to happen. I just don't want to just they put in and nothing happens in my application. I want to something very basic, not complicated, happen. So now user put in their username and password. First thing to do, we need to obtain those. We need to get those. The way we can get those, like the username and password that the user input into those entry fields, it's by using the get method. So I'm gonna delete this print. I'm gonna define a variable called log for login, log user name, and I'm gonna say username log. So we need to call the widget that user used to input the username. So that would be log entry. So we're going to call log entry, say dot get. This will help us to retrieve the string user input in that field. Also, we do the same thing for the password, log pass. We're going to say pass log entry dot get. So now we have access to those two. So I'm going to define a condition here. I'm going to say if log username equals admin and log pass equals to 1 2 3 4. If those two are valid, then I want to do this. I want to show, now here I want to show user, like I want to have a message box, like I want to have something pops up and says, okay, you have the right password, or something else pops up and says, oh, you don't have the right password, you can't log in, or you can't register or whatever. So in order to be able to do that, we need to use another widget called Messagebox. So Messagebox modules are provided by Tkinter for displaying various type of messages. So like information, warning, error, or question dialog, or whatever. It has a list. You can check it out in the documentation. I'm going to put in the description of this video. So yep, we're going to use that. We want to do that. So we're going to come here and we're going to say message. Oh, actually we don't have access to it yet because we need to import the message box. We need to actually have it from the Tkinter. So we're going to say from Tkinter, I want you to import message box. Now we can have it here. So we're going to say message box dot show info. Show info is a type of message box, and we're going to give it a name. So the message box name would be login, and the message would be let's say, yeah, should go here. The message would be something like login information correct. This is in case of they put in the admin and password like 1 2 3 4. That's what I defined. We're just trying to go for a very simple application. If you wanted to have it more complicated, we could have a database, and we could have some like a username and password there, or like whenever a user registered, like enter those into the database. We're not going to do this in this version of the app. We're going to do that in the next version, not this version. So, but we also need to define else condition. So else, if the username and password was not okay, was not correct, so we want to show an error. To show an error, we're going to use show error message box, and we're going to call it login failed, and for the message we're going to say incorrect information. Yep, I have a typo again. Incorrect information. Okay. Yep, it's pretty simple, as you can see. Let's go and run it, see what's happened. Run. Okay. So username and password, we said the username would be admin. So lowercase and uppercase matter here, guys. Don't forget that. And the password, we're gonna say 1234. You can't see it, but I did put in 1234. Login. Yep. Login information correct. So this is the information box. The information box, you can see it'll comes up like this. It'll have this blue circle with the exclamation mark, and yep, that's what we wanted. But let's say we input the wrong password, so that's whatever. Login. Yep. This is the show error box. It'll show us a circle, red, X, and this is the message we put. So this is what you see. This is the message I put, and this is the title. Okay. Yeah, pretty easy and pretty cool actually. So we want to do the same thing for kind of the same thing for the registration. Registration, we had two password entry. So we're gonna say reg user name equal to user name reg entry dot get and reg pass equals to pass reg entry, the third one, dot get. And we're gonna have reg pass conf, and it'll be pass reg con entry conf dot get. Okay, we have access to those three. Now we want to have a very simple condition here. So I'm gonna say if registration password is equal to registration password confirmation. If these two are equal, we're gonna have a message box says, we're gonna have use show info that says registration, as always I have a typo, successful. Oh god, two typos. Okay, successful. Okay, so you can go to more options, you can choose this one. Yep. And this will be the title of the message box, and for the message we can put whatever we want. So we can say you have been registered. Oh god, yeah, I need to really work on my spelling. Okay, so this is if they input, if the password and the password retype match, I want to see this. But if they don't match, I want to get an error. It says that these two does not match. So we're gonna put the yeah, else would be enough, like for our purpose here. Message box dot show error. We're gonna say registration failed, and for the message we want to say passwords do not match. How's that? Like it, guys? All right, so we're gonna do this. Whatever, we're gonna run it. So username, it doesn't matter here, we didn't define a username. We're gonna have, let's just admin. Password, I'm gonna put 1 2 3 4. You see these guys, plus 1 2 3 4. Sign up, you have been registered. So but if I say 5 here, passwords do not match. Okay. All right, and there you have it, guys. This was the first version of this application. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. It's like working on Python front end application. It's really fun. You get to see a lot on the screen. When you do like a backend coding, you don't get a chance to watch a lot of things happening on the interface, but that's why I really like front end development. It's really fun and interactive. I hope you really enjoyed this application. I try to uh, be as simple as possible, just not too much coding, so it'll make it easier for you guys to learn. I do hope that you come back and watch my next videos and the sequential of this video. And please just give me a like, subscribe, or comment if you like this video. And if you have any like video suggestion or any question that you want to ask, I would be glad to answer you guys. Thank you. Happy coding.